think we can get started on our Plan Commission meeting of the Village of Morton for Monday, February 25th, 2019. Call to order, please.
Zobrist, Farrell, Keach,
Here.
Neff,
Here.
Vick,
Here.
Ritterbush,
Here.
Smock,
Here.
Westlake, DeWeese.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Okay, great. We need an approval of the minutes of December. We did not have a meeting in January.
Move that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in
Voice roll,
favor?
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Approved.
Okay. So tonight, we have public hearings, and I'm going to let our attorney make an announcement about public hearings.
Thank you. Public hearings are being held tonight pursuant to published notice. Any person wishing to make a comment to the Plan Commission will be afforded an opportunity to do so and will give their testimony under oath or affirmation. At the conclusion of the public hearing, Plan Commission will make a recommendation to the Village Board. The Plan Commission makes recommendations only. The Village Board is responsible for taking final action on these matters.
Thank you, sir. So tonight, we have 6 things on our agenda that are basically like from the same ordinance, and I am going to let Roger summarize those for us.
I will
And then
make
we can
my best effort.
Why don't you go ahead and just summarize, let's summarize them one at a time, and if there are any questions,
Okay.
maybe we can just ask those
Sure.
questions as each one comes.
Okay, the first one you have before you is the ordinance pertaining to pavement setbacks. So basically what we, and Pat put this together, I just kind of got the ball rolling. But he was really the brains behind this. But what we did, we took the setbacks that were all listed in our general regulations up front of it, their Title 10 of your ordinance. And it wasn't easy for when someone would look online trying to find out what the setbacks are for a property, let's say zone B3. You go to B3, but you don't find that. Well, you got to go up to the front of that chapter to find it. So I thought it might be easier for someone that's not familiar with the ordinance in our book to, if we had it somewhat orderly, like if it's B3 property you're looking for, everything you want to know about B3 is going to be under B3. So all we're doing is taking what was under the general regs and putting it under the first one you see there at the bottom of that first page is R3, or the multifamily ordinance. And then it goes in through B3, industrial, B1, B2, and then so forth. And none of the setbacks are changed. They're all just what they were. We're just kind of organizing in our book. More user-friendly, we hope. So,
Okay.
any questions?
Questions for Roger on that one? So what I think we might do is wait and just have a single motion for all of them at the end, unless someone wants to pull one out at the end to discuss further, but let's go ahead with the second one then.
Okay. The next one is the ordinance that's, this was new to the Village of Morton. The retail brewing facilities. We had worked with a business in town that looked maybe at doing something like this. That hasn't happened yet, but we thought it would be good to get an ordinance on the books for down the road if somebody comes in, that we're kind of ahead of the game and can take care of them a little quicker that way instead of having to create an ordinance or a slot, because right now there isn't a place for that type of a business. Like that, is it Obed and Isaac's that's in Peoria? If somebody, for example, wanted to do that here, we don't have a mechanism to allow them to do that. So with our ordinance that we got before you tonight, this would give them a key way into doing their business.
Is this a special use in, maybe if I looked up 1063B, I'd know, but is this just the commercial downtown, or what zoning district is it for?
That is the B.
Just the B?
Yeah, B uses. And so the way our ordinance is set up, if it's a special use or a permitted use in B3, let's just say, for example, then if you have property that's zoned industrial, you could do the same thing with a special use. They carry right on over. So this will get us through any commercial or industrially zoned property.
Okay. Next.
Okay. The next one is a little bit of a housekeeping with political signs. Basically, all we're doing is taking out the words "unless they are on property zoned residential," because in the industrial or commercial areas, you had to have the signs removed after the election, 7 days after the election. And this will kind of make this all even playing field, whether it's industrial or residential. You have to remove the signs.
Okay. Very good. Next.
The solar system, back some time ago, we adopted that solar ordinance. Well, when we had done that, back in another part of the ordinance, the way it's set up, it's not the easiest to navigate sometime. There was some language in there that contradicted what we were saying in our new solar ordinance. So all we did was get rid of that. That won't be in the book any longer. We aren't changing the solar ordinance at all. It's just exactly as you recommended. We're just kind of taking away a couple pitfalls possibly.
Any questions about that? Okay. And
The next one I've got the current ordinance I want to put up here. Let's see here. Okay, the next ordinance deals with accessory structures, accessory buildings. And what you see boxed in red there is kind of a key part of this ordinance that I wanted you to have some confidence that we weren't letting everybody do just whatever they wanted. But right now, our current ordinance allows you to have 2 accessory structures on your property. They can't be the same. In other words, you can't have 2 storage buildings on your property. And that ordinance has been, I think, since in the 70s sometime when it was written. It may have been amended a time or two for various things, but it's been around a long time. But we had someone got permits to do some work on their house, and they actually did some other things that they didn't have permits for. But in meeting with them, we thought what they did is beautiful. I mean, it looks awesome. And I thought I was in somebody's backyard in Hollywood, maybe, not Morton, Illinois. And there wasn't anything gross about it. I mean, but this, by not exceeding that 60%, they can't roof and pave their whole yard yet. So I wanted you to know that if this change goes through, they still can't come in and just pour concrete to the side lot line and to the rear lot line and call it good. They still have that limitation, which is going to be a big hold. I've kind of bounced this through, obviously with Pat, but also with Craig Loudermilk, our Public Works Director, who takes care of oversight of stormwater. He thought it was made sense, and the design person that these people had do their project, when he explained it, that they want the outside to be like an extension of the inside, and they have that. I mean, it's what you walk out there and it's like, wow, this is really nice. And so I thought, well, gee, if we can make this change and not flood the neighbors out with any of that kind of problem, then why do we care if they have a gazebo or a swimming pool and some other structure, shade structure over their outdoor kitchen or whatever the case might be. As long as they have not exceeded that square footage, we're good.
so you haven't changed the percentage of green space in a
The
backyard?
only thing we
at all?
removed was that under B, there may be 2 accessory uses per lot.
Now, they can
That's the
have 3
change.
if they want, as long as it's not
Yeah. That
exceeding
2 the same or whatever.
amount of impervious area. Okay.
Right. Because the stormwater is a big concern now with a lot of things. you know, it's, that's a big part of a project, is figuring out what you're gonna do with the stormwater.
Yeah.
And so we're not turning a blind eye to that. We kept that in mind.
Okay.
And I think, I'm not speaking for trustee Blunier, he's very capable of speaking, but he knows about this as well. And I've talked to several of the board members, and no one has really had any issue or concern with it, so.
Okay. Very good. And then one more.
Let's see here. This one came about, a set of plans had come in to review, and there was a small balcony on the second floor of this building. When I say small, it only stuck out 3 feet past the front of the building. But our ordinance didn't allow that. And so by just this little change that Pat's done for us here, we already would allow you to have eaves, gutters, balcony, or decks, chimneys, overhangs, those types of things could already be projected into the front yard. There's a limit to that. But it didn't say this balcony or this deck. So by making this change, it gives them a little bit of a balcony that they can have a place to go out and maybe have a grill on the balcony or a chair or something, but they're very small.
So right now, the ordinance doesn't allow any balcony.
Well, you would if that balcony then has to meet the setback.
Oh, well, I mean, I meant any balcony over the setback line.
Right,
is what I
correct,
meant.
correct.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how you define et cetera, right? Doesn't it say et cetera?
Et cetera. We took that out. That was that's another cleanup thing too, so.
Is
Pat
this-
took care of that.
Is this for all zoning districts? Or just
This would-
residential?
This would be, this is not it's in the general regulations, but typically, I think we're gonna probably see it more in a residential, or it could be in a mixed use type.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, building, maybe downtown or something, so. The project that we were looking at wasn't downtown, but it seems to make sense since we're already allowing these other things.
Any other questions?
Yes, I have one question. In the second whereas, it indicates that somebody has proposed this amendment. Is that typical to put that in the ordinance that names a specific entity as proposing an ordinance? Or should that just be generic?
Well, in this case, they filed a written petition for an amendment to the zoning ordinance.
Okay.
So this is a different procedure. In some instances, we have a situation where a change derives out of a project but isn't a part of a specific request made by an applicant. Our code does allow an interested party to make a petition to the village for an amendment to the zoning ordinance. So that's why the different treatment here than many other instances that you see.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about the size. Was it an arbitrary number of 36 inches, or is there some limiting factor?
That's
in that?
what the existing code read. We didn't change those numbers. That's what it's always been.
Okay.
So in the project that we were looking at that kind of triggered this, that the front elevation of the building had a 2-foot offset. So that's right where this little balcony would be. So that balcony was extending back toward the building 2 feet, plus the 3 feet past the front, gave it a depth of 5 feet, again, which isn't a very big balcony, but it did give them a little outdoor space.
Are there any comments from the public? Anybody would like to make a comment about any of these ordinances from the public? No? Okay, so hearing none, I would entertain a motion to pass all of them at the same time, or unless somebody wants to pull one out for separate discussion, further discussion. First of all, does anybody want to pull anyone out for discussion? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to approve all of them.
I'll make a motion to approve all the proposed ordinance changes.
I'll second.
Did the first and the second. Lisa, call the roll.
Voice roll, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Approved.
Okay, we have no other business, but Roger Spangler has a few things listed under his name on the agenda. He's the star of the show tonight.
You better raise your standards. I just wanted to let you know I've included a list of all the changes that will appear on our maps for this coming year, 2019. The changes have been made, and they will be, once the board gets the same notification, they will actually be on our website. So when you click on a new zoning map, if there is a new subdivision created or a new lot subdivided somewhere, that will all show up. And if anybody does want paper copy, we can get them, but they are, like I said, they would be online available to you. And if anybody needs them, let me know.
So, our zoning ordinance is all available online,
Yeah,
right,
our
Roger?
ordinance
So
is, yeah.
anybody in town can go and read the whole ordinance.
Under government.
And then
Yeah.
when would, these things would be added to it after the village board approves?
Right, yeah.
Those sections of the ordinance, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about tonight? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Anybody else want to second that?
Second.
It's cold out there.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.